Hi guys, this is Aidan's Toy Trove. I have today with me a really big box that I got in the mail from the post office. Just to give you a size reference, I'll put a model horse in front of it so you can see how humongous this box is. This box contains one horse only. The seller obviously did a very good job packing it in this humongous box. So I am going to get this box opened and hopefully get to more interesting parts of the video because I can barely fit this box on my video camera. Now, this box came from Russia. This seems to be the tape that either their post office or their postal service uses, because I've seen this come from a number of sellers from Russia. So when I saw this tape, I was pretty excited. I'm going to count this horse as a birthday present to me. So happy birthday to me! Most of you probably know that my personal collection consists mostly of custom Breyer horses. So that should give you a clue of what's inside. Try to give you a view of the top of this box here. It's got like the styrofoam that you'd see packing like a TV or electronics, and it's a little bit messy. So I'm just going to try to not make a mess. I'm just going to pull this box off screen for a minute and try to pull this horse out of here since the box is too big to fit on camera. Anyway, but this horse is entirely surrounded by, here you go, this sort of styrofoam. And then he has additional styrofoam and newspaper is packing. And the horse is completely wrapped in bubble wrap. And you're going to see it just a minute. Oh, I'm going to throw it out. I totally understand why the seller used this styrofoam, but it's really messy. So I foresee vacuuming in my future. So this huge, gigantic lump is one custom Breyer horse, and he is in a gigantic amount of bubble wrap. So the seller did a really phenomenal job packing him. The seller is also the artist. Her name is Jeanne Saar, I believe. I'm sorry, I'm slaughtering your name. I'm not very good with names. And again, she is an artist from Russia. So this horse traveled all the way across the ocean over here. And it looks like not only is this horse in bubble wrap, but he is also completely wrapped up in foam inside the bubble wrap. So now I'm trying to figure out the best way to get this horse out of here without spreading too much of this styrofoam, because my cats will eat this and it will make them sick. Now this is actually an artist, Jeanne. I had asked her a little bit ago about doing a commission for me because I very much admire her work, and she wasn't able to accept any commissions at the time, so I was kind of bummed. And when I saw her post this horse to Facebook, before it was ever for sale, I immediately messaged her and I said, hey, I would love to buy that horse. And she very kindly sold me the horse. So, thank you, Jeanne. I'm really excited to get this horse. Maybe I can use this tape to kind of pick up some of the styrofoam. Oh, I'm making a mess. I better have this all picked up by the time hubby gets home. So there was definitely sufficient tape to make sure that the horse didn't come out of the bubble wrap. And again, you couldn't really get a real good view of the inside of the box because the box was so big that I couldn't get a good shot with my camera. We only have so much space here. Actually, this is my phone. We do have a camera. and a video camera, but I find it easiest to just drag out my phone to take videos for the most part. So for those of you that make your own YouTube videos, what kind of camera or phone are you using? I'm kind of curious to know. A lot of you have some really lovely videos out there. Apparently we're just using the YouTube video editor, which really isn't working out for us. It's really slow and has limited functionality. So we're on the hunt for a new video editor. If you know of any, pretty please let me know. So I think all in all, this horse was less than 2 weeks in transit. Really, that's pretty fast for an international package. Packages that I have shipped from the United States going overseas to countries like Russia have taken upwards of 2 months sometimes. And I think a lot of that is the horse clearing customs on the other end. But I'm usually pleasantly surprised at the transit time of receiving international packages, but I'm frustrated with the sending time from the U.S. of how long it takes for international packages to be sent through the post office via USPS first class international mail, which is the most economical service to use, but also the slowest. You could use priority or something like UPS or a completely different service. But we like to stick with the post office because they don't tack on any extra fees for the customers, which is sometimes an unpleasant surprise. I've heard from people who use services that aren't the post office. Recently, we ordered some Copper Fox model horse inventory from the United Kingdom, and those horses got here in like 5 days or less. So all the way from the United Kingdom to here in under a week. It was absolutely phenomenal. So I will be looking into UPS perhaps as an international shipping option. Okay, we've mostly got this outer wrap off, and you can see the horse is inside foam and still somehow taped onto this outer piece of bubble wrap, and I just have to get off. There we go. So still lots of packing here. I really do love this foam for packaging custom horses. It not only does it give them padding to prevent breakage, but it evens out the distribution of pressure. So even if you have, say, like a pointed part of the mane that's sticking out, even if you wrap that up really, 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 really well, if you don't have it kind of surrounded by something of an even layer like this foam, you're creating a pressure point on the tip of that mane, which can also create some problems in shipping. So ideally, this is a fantastic way to wrap a custom, but it also takes quite a bit of room in the box, which here in the US can be an issue because of I tend to ship using USPS priority mail, and priority mail has a limit of 1 cubic foot, which is basically the equivalent of a 12 by 12 box or 12 by 12 by 12 box, but you can change up those dimensions. And once you get over that cubic foot limit, there's a huge balloon fee that is tacked on. And so something that would, like, say cost you maybe 15 bucks to ship across the country by priority mail is now going to cost you 60 bucks. It's a very big fee. So to avoid that surcharge, a lot of the time it ends up being cheaper to ship a custom when it's packed like this within the US by USPS Priority Mail Express, which is a 1 or 2 day service, which does not have the dimensional limit. interestingly enough, priority mail international and first class international mail through the post office also do not have a dimensional limit. I mean, there is a limit. It's something like 70 inches, but they don't have that cubic foot limit and balloon charge that domestic priority mail incurs. So inside we have more bubble wrap, and it looks like some paper towel. Gosh, I'm kind of dreading ever having to pack this horse, because the seller sure put a lot of work into wrapping this horse up for transit. I'm trying to be careful here, make sure I don't knock him on the table after all this careful packing that he's had, all this distance that he's come. I don't want to knock him against the table. That would be just horrible. I'm just trying to slide these little pieces of bubble wrap off of his feet. And then I think I'm going to use the piece of foam he was wrapped in, just to make sure that I don't accidentally bump him against the table. And this horse does have pegs in his hooves, which I always worry about in packing, especially you can see long pegs like this, because they're very, very fragile and very, very hard to ship. And that is why the seller had hit the bottoms of those rods completely wrapped in bubble wrap to protect them. Just seeing how long it's taking me to unwrap this horse, I can't even imagine how long it took Jeanne to wrap the horse. And now I'm struggling to find the end of this piece of paper towel so that I can unravel it. I like to try to keep the original packaging because I deal a lot with customs, and keeping this type of packaging handy is very useful, whether I'm wrapping to ship a horse off, if it's sold, if it's going out for repairs, and even if we're just wrapping it for a show. Typically I try to avoid having to pack horses like this extensively for a show, because it will take a lot of time and space to transport the horse and then to unpack it at the show and repack it. So a lot of the time I'll try to make it its own custom foam fit gun case or something like that, which will make packing a bit easier. You can see this guy finally coming out of his wrapping. He is a custom Frisian. I think he's a stallion. And I'm going to sit down because my back is getting tired. You can probably tell by his head what mold he was created from. Now I'm trying to find the end of this piece of paper towel, which might be tucked between his legs here. There we go. So I don't know if you can see him, but my cat is lurking around the table, and he's trying to get his greedy little paws on this wrapping and jump in the box full of styrofoam, which I'm trying to avoid so he doesn't make a huge, ginormous mess. I don't want to jinx myself, but I think this guy came through in great shape. And some of you might have seen one of my videos on some other custom Frisians that I purchased that didn't come through in such great shape, and it was so very sad. So let's get this guy shown off for you, and the packing off of the table. Boy, I don't know what I'm going to do with all that packaging. He has some bits of that paper towel left on him, which I'll dust off with a makeup brush or a paintbrush. That's a great trick for getting dust off of your horse. If you don't want to wash them, you can use an unused makeup brush like you would use for putting on powder, or you can use a paintbrush, and for those really like stubborn spots of dust that sometimes get caught in little crevices like his mane here, you can use a stiff paintbrush just really gently, and that will help to de-dust the horse. And I'm just telling you this because he has some leftover pieces of paper towel from his packing, which is absolutely fine, absolutely expected. So this is a custom Salinero by Jeanne Saar, and I'm just kind of gonna try to get him on camera so that you can take a look at all of his details. After enduring all of that unwrapping, you're probably like, show me the horse already. So here we are, I'm showing you the horse. This guy is just stunning. So if anybody has maybe a more traditional Frisian name, I would just love to get this horse named. I think I will debut this horse for his first show at Breyer Fest 2017 at the open show. That will be very exciting because this is a very beautiful horse. This is the first piece by Jeanne Saar that I have had the chance to see in person, and he is even nicer than her picture showed. I'll try to put a link to her Facebook page down in the description, and she has some phenomenal photos of this horse on her Facebook page. They're just gorgeous, so be sure to check those out. There was a lot of work that went into this horse. I particularly love these big flowing manes and tails, which sometimes get me in trouble because they're so hard to pack. And then my friend, one of my best friends, she makes fun of me when I buy big mane tails, big horses with big manes and tails like these. She says, now think about how you're going to pack that. And often she will help me at shows. And I say, I'm not going to pack that, friend. You're going to pack that. But this year, I will not have her help at the Breyer Fest show. So I'm really bummed about that because it's the only time of year that I get to see her. And I really do appreciate her help. Trying to see what else I could show you on this horse. Oh, his feathers. Really detailed. Along with just that gorgeous job done on his mane and his tail. His feathers are also just so beautifully sculpted. He has just this most free-flowing, smooth, almost fantasy-like hair job. And he is a very matte black. He has some really nice sculpted wrinkles on his neck here, as well as on his other side. And I'm just seeing this horse for the first time, so I'm kind of looking him over for the first time and showing you what I'm seeing for the first time. He has some veining on his underbelly and some wrinkles. Gorgeous, gorgeous horse. Now he is kind of low to the ground there, trotting, so maybe I can reposition the camera just a smidge. I don't want to knock him over. That would be very bad. You can just see the beautiful movement this piece has. In just a minute, I have a original finished Salinero that I will show you so you can see just how much work went into this piece. He definitely stands on his own, but he is a little tippy. So I think that I will either use some sticky wax or keep him lying down. Okay, so here we have the original Celtic Salinero, who was sculpted by Bridget Aberrell, and this is the mold that the Frisian was sculpted from. And it is also in itself a very tippy mold. It comes on this little plastic disc stand, and the little plastic disc, the peg in it tends to break. It's really annoying. But if you haven't heard, you can request a new one of those stands from Breyer, or any of Breyer stands really. If you don't get a response from Breyer, just ask them again. Sometimes you have to bug them. So there is the original mold that this beautiful Frisian stallion was made from. And I'll flip him around so you can take a look at his other side. So having two tippy horses on the table here is really making me super, super paranoid. And I'm hoping my cat isn't under the table just like waiting to leap up and pounce on them, because that would just be the story of my life. There we go. So here we have my brand new Custom Salinero by Jeanne Saar, and thank you so much, Jeanne, for selling this guy to me and for your phenomenal job on his packaging. He came through just fine, and I love him. So I'm going to get this horse put away before I break him. Thanks for watching, everyone.